You are reading this in the dark. Not the physical dark. The blue light from your screen is probably etching premature wrinkles into your forehead right now, mapping the topography of your worry onto your face like a cartographer charting dead territory. I mean the dark of your own pattern. The dark of a loop so repetitive, so maddeningly predictable, that you could set a watch by your own disappointment. You clicked on this title because it promised freedom, but let me be excruciatingly clear about why you are here. You are not here to learn. You are here to feel the temporary relief of having taken a step toward change without actually changing. You are here to consume the idea of transformation so you can avoid the vomiting, sweating, terrifying reality of it. You are here to narcotize your anxiety with the sweet opium of potential. And that is exactly why you are broke. Not broke in the sense of zeros in your account. Though let's be honest, those zeros have been laughing at you for months, maybe years, multiplying like a cruel joke you don't understand the punchline to, but broke in the machinery of your decision-making. You are emotionally bankrupt. Your internal operating system is corrupted by malware that disguises itself as caution, as wisdom, as responsibility. And until you file for emotional bankruptcy and restructure the entire architecture of how you react to uncertainty, every financial strategy, every hack, every guru's secret formula will slide off you like water off a corpse. You will watch the video, feel the surge of inspiration, and then return to exactly the same behaviors that created your current reality because you have not addressed the root pathology. You are addicted to the feeling of preparation because you are terrified of the feeling of exposure. Look at your browser history. No, seriously, imagine it right now. The 3 a.m. searches that bleed into 4 a.m. How to start investing with 100. Best side hustles 2026. Why do I self-sabotage? Stoicism for beginners. How to stop procrastinating. The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. It has built a digital portrait of you as a collector of beginnings, a hoarder of potential energy, a curator of someday. You have consumed enough content to earn 3 PhDs in theoretical success, yet your bank account reflects a different curriculum entirely, one written in the language of hesitation and taught in the University of Almost. You are trapped in the preparation paradox, a psychological Ouroboros where the act of getting ready to succeed prevents you from actually succeeding. You believe that if you just read one more book, watch one more video, download one more template, outline one more business plan, you will finally feel ready. Ready will descend upon you like a religious experience, and suddenly all the fear will evaporate, leaving only competence and certainty in its place. But ready is a lie you tell yourself to justify your fear. Ready is the mask that cowardice wears when it wants to look productive in the mirror. You are not preparing. You are postponing. You are performing the role of an entrepreneur, an investor, a creator, without ever stepping onto the stage. And every second you spend in that suspended animation of overthinking, the compound interest of your inaction is building a wall between you and the life you claim to want. That wall is getting higher with each passing day. The mortar is setting hard as diamond. And you are running out of time to climb it before it becomes your tombstone. Let me tell you about someone. Let's call him Marcus. Not because that's his real name, but because Marcus Aurelius would weep at the waste of human potential. Marcus wakes up at 6 a.m. with intention vibrating in his chest like a tuning fork struck against the hard edge of his ambition. He has downloaded the perfect morning routine app, the one that promises billionaire habits in 30 days. He has color-coded his Notion workspace into a kaleidoscope of organizational beauty that no one will ever see. He has 17 browser tabs open, simultaneously researching dropshipping logistics, crypto market patterns, real estate wholesaling scripts, the psychology of wealthy individuals, and the optimal time to post on LinkedIn for maximum engagement. The room smells like stale coffee and unfulfilled potential. The blue light of his monitor paints his face in the pallor of someone who has not seen sunlight in days. His back aches from hunching over the keyboard, not from labor, but from the contortion of avoidance. He takes cold showers because he read that builds discipline and increases testosterone. He drinks mushroom coffee because he read that it optimizes cognitive function. He journals about his goals using the SMART framework. He meditates using an app that tracks his streaks. By 9 a.m., Marcus has moved information around. He has organized his potential. He has curated his ambitions. He has optimized his environment for success. He has done everything except the one thing that matters. He has not acted. He has not made the offer. He has not published the content. He has not sent the invoice. He has not asked for the sale. He has read 4 articles about email marketing sequences but has not sent a single email. He has watched 3 videos about closing sales but has not made a single call. He tells himself he is being strategic. He tells himself he is mitigating risk. He tells himself that successful people plan extensively, and therefore his planning is a proxy for success, a placeholder for execution. But his nervous system knows the truth. That tightness in his chest when he thinks about actually hitting publish on the website, or making the cold call, or investing the money in the course he actually needs, or asking for the raise, that tightness is not intuition speaking. It is not ancient wisdom warning him of danger. It is emotional avoidance dressed up as caution, fear wearing the costume of prudence. And Marcus has become so skilled at this costume design that he can fool everyone in his life, including himself, especially himself, into believing that he is on the path while he remains firmly at the starting line, polishing his shoes and calling it preparation. The sun sets on Marcus's day with the same predictable rhythm as his morning. He has consumed 23 pieces of content about wealth creation, ranging from Twitter threads by self-proclaimed e-commerce millionaires to 2-hour podcasts about mindset shifts. He has taken extensive notes in his second brain software. He has highlighted passages in 3 different books about financial independence and circled quotes about discipline. He has done his evening review, cataloging what he learned. He falls asleep feeling accomplished, his brain heavy with dopamine from the illusion of progress. He has successfully masturbated his brain into believing that consumption equals creation, that research equals revenue, that motion is the same as movement, that learning about doing is equivalent to doing. But motion without traction is just entropy. And Marcus is entropic. He is heat death walking, a living demonstration of the second law of thermodynamics applied to human potential. Because here is what he will not admit to himself in the quiet moments before sleep, what you will not admit to yourself in the mirror. The planning feels safe. The overthinking feels like control in a world that terrifies you with its randomness. And the moment of execution, the actual, physical, irreversible moment where you send the email, make the offer, risk the rejection, expose your work to public judgment, that moment feels like death. It feels like ego death. Like the annihilation of the carefully constructed image you have of yourself as competent and intelligent. So you choose the death of 1,000 delays instead. You choose the slow rot of potential over the sharp pain of reality. You choose the certainty of mediocrity over the uncertainty of greatness. And that is why your finances look the way they do. Your bank account is not a reflection of the economy or your education or your background. Your bank account is a mirror, and it is reflecting back at you your own emotional incontinence, your inability to hold your nerve when uncertainty arrives. Every dollar you don't have is a testament to a decision you postponed. Every debt is a monument to your hesitation. Every missed opportunity is a ghost that haunts the space where your courage should have been, rattling its chains at 3 a.m. while you search for another video to tell you what you already know but are too afraid to act upon. But here is where the story twists. Here is where the blade enters the wound before the healing can begin, because sometimes you have to cut out the rot to save the limb. 2,000 years ago, a slave-turned-philosopher stood in the harsh marble streets of Rome and delivered a sentence that should have shattered the ancient world and should absolutely shatter you right now if you were listening with more than your ears. His name was Epictetus. He was born a slave, physically owned by another human being, yet he achieved a freedom that emperors envied. And he said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, property, reputation, office, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing." Read that again, not with your eyes scanning like they usually do, looking for the next dopamine hit. Read it with your nervous system. Let it settle into your bones like cold water. Think about it. You are exhausting yourself trying to control the opinions of people you have never met, the stability of markets you did not create, the algorithms of platforms that change on a whim, the timing of events that are fundamentally unknowable. You are trying to hold water in your fist, squeezing tighter as it slips through your fingers, believing that if you just grip hard enough, you can make it stay. But Stoicism is not about gripping tighter. It is about opening your hands. It is about distinguishing between the water and the vessel. You are the vessel. Your actions are the vessel. Everything else is the water. essential, life-giving, but uncontrollable in its flow. Epictetus was not giving you a history lesson to memorize for a trivia night. He was handing you the master key to the prison you have built around yourself with your own hands. He was saying, with the authority of a man who had nothing yet possessed everything, that you are torturing yourself over variables you cannot control. Market conditions, other people's opinions, the possibility of failure, the uncertainty of outcomes, the fluctuations of fortune, while completely neglecting the one domain where you have absolute, unassailable, God-like sovereignty, your own actions. Your own will, your own choices in this exact second, this breath, this heartbeat. You think you are afraid of poverty. You are not. You are afraid of the feeling of poverty. You are afraid of the shame, the constriction, the anxiety, the social judgment, the sense of being left behind while others thrive. You are trying to solve an external condition with internal rumination, and it is like trying to put out a fire by drinking gasoline, like trying to heal a wound by cutting deeper. You overthink because you believe, on a level so deep you probably can't articulate it, that if you think hard enough, long enough, with enough complexity and nuance, you can predict the future. You can eliminate risk. You can guarantee success before you begin. You can engineer certainty in a universe built on entropy. But Epictetus is grabbing your face with both hands and forcing you to look at the brutal physics of reality. You control the arrow. You control the draw, the aim, the tension in the string, the moment of release. You do not control where it lands. You do not control the wind, the movement of the target, the armor of the enemy. You control the effort. You do not control the outcome. And the moment you truly accept this, not intellectually, not as a quote you post on Instagram with a sunset background, but as a cellular, bone-deep, spiritual acceptance, the architecture of your suffering collapses inward like a condemned building. Because if you cannot control the result, what is there to fear? If the only thing you own, the only thing you can ever own, is your attempt, what is there to overthink? The overthinking is an illusion of control, a magician's trick you play on yourself to believe you are doing something when you are actually just circling the drain of your own anxiety, going nowhere but calling it progress. Marcus, sitting in his color-coded digital temple of procrastination, has never understood this distinction. He believes that if he can just think through every scenario, map every contingency, visualize every failure mode, he can prevent bad feelings. He can prevent loss. He can prevent the ego death of public failure. He can outsmart uncertainty itself. But the Stoic does not avoid feelings. The Stoic transmutes them like an alchemist turning lead into gold. The Stoic looks at fear and sees excitement without breath. The Stoic looks at anxiety and sees energy misdirected toward imaginary futures. The Stoic looks at poverty not as a curse from the universe or evidence of personal flaw, but as feedback from reality saying, your current emotional patterns, your current behavioral algorithms, are producing your current financial results. And the Stoic knows that the only way out is through. Not around, not over, not under, through. Through the discomfort of imperfect action. Through the nausea of uncertainty. Through the humiliation of beginner mistakes. Through the sting of rejection. Through the ego bruise of being bad at something before you become good. Because on the other side of that discomfort is not just money. On the other side is sovereignty. On the other side is the person you have been avoiding becoming because that person requires you to kill the current version of yourself, to burn the identity of the hesitant, overthinking, perpetual preparer. And you are so attached to your current suffering because it is familiar. It is known. It is safe. It requires no courage. It invites no judgment. It is the devil you know. So here is the question that should be ringing in your skull like a struck bell, vibrating through your sternum, keeping you awake tonight. What if you stopped waiting to feel ready? What if readiness is not a prerequisite for action but a consequence of it? What if the universe is not waiting for you to be perfect, to be optimized, to be fully healed from your childhood trauma, to have read the complete library of business literature? What if the universe is simply waiting for you to be present? To show up, to do the thing badly instead of not doing it perfectly. You have been treating your financial life like a puzzle that needs to be solved in its entirety before you can start living, but life is happening now. The rent is due now. The opportunities are expiring now. Your youth is burning now like a cigarette left in an ashtray. And every second you spend in the abstract realm of someday, and what if, and after I learn more, is a second you are choosing poverty. Not the poverty of lack, but the poverty of latency. The poverty of a life trapped in amber while you wait for perfect conditions that will never arrive because perfect conditions do not exist in this dimension. Epictetus would slap you with this truth until your teeth rattled. You are not disturbed by things, but by the views which you take of them. Your financial situation is not the enemy. Your interpretation of it is permanent, as personal, as proof of your inadequacy, as a reflection of your worth. That is the enemy. And that interpretation is within your power to change. Right now, not after you watch the rest of this video. Not after you do more research. Not after you feel better. Now, this second, you need to understand something about the architecture of breakthrough. It is not a staircase. It is not gradual. It is not polite. It is a wall you run into at full speed, and either you break through or you break against it. There is no dignified way to transform your financial reality. There is no method that allows you to remain comfortable while becoming wealthy. There is only the messy, embarrassing, uncertain, stomach-churning act of beginning before you are ready. The Stoics called this, amor fati, the love of fate. Not just accepting what happens with a resigned sigh, but loving that it happens exactly as it does. Embracing it, kissing the chaos, including your failures, including your miscalculations, including the launches that flop and the investments that tank and the projects that die in the cradle and the conversations that go sideways. Because those are not evidence of your inadequacy or proof that you should have planned more. They are evidence that you are finally moving. That you have stopped theorizing and started living. That you have transferred your identity from someone who consumes information about success to someone who generates success through the sheer volume of their attempts, through their tolerance for looking foolish, through their willingness to be seen as imperfect. The market does not reward the most intelligent. The market rewards the most resilient. The market rewards those who can endure the emotional volatility of creation without retreating back into the womb of theory. And resilience is built only through the repetition of action despite the certainty of discomfort, like a callus forming on a laborer's hand. Look at your hand right now. The one holding the phone or resting on the keyboard or mouse. Look at the lines on your palm, the creases of your knuckles. That hand is either an instrument of creation or an instrument of delay. Right now, in this season of your life, it has been trained to scroll, to swipe, to seek the dopamine of distraction, to flick away anything that makes you feel the sharp edge of your own responsibility. You have Pavlov's dogged yourself into paralysis, salivating at the bell of notification but starving for the meat of accomplishment. But that same hand can write the email that changes your career. Can make the call that lands the client. Can click buy on the investment that compounds for 30 years. Can publish the post that starts the movement. Can send the invoice that pays the rent. Can do the work. Can create the art. Can build the business. And the only thing standing between those two realities, the scrolling hand and the acting hand, is a decision. Not a feeling. Not a motivation. Not an inspiration. A decision. Epictetus didn't say wait until you feel courageous and then act. He said act according to your principles and let the feelings follow like a loyal dog follows its master. Your feelings are lagging indicators of your actions, not leading indicators of your potential. You have been waiting for the emotional weather to clear before you set sail, but the sea is always stormy. The successful are not those with calm waters or perfect conditions. They are those who built better ships while the storm was raging, who learned to navigate by the lightning because the stars were obscured. While you were waiting to feel motivated, they were building. While you were waiting for certainty, they were shipping. While you were overthinking, they were overacting. While you were planning, they were profiting. This is where the identity shift happens. Not in the reading of these words, not in the nodding of your head in agreement, but in the moment you close this tab or finish this video and do something that scares the version of you that is currently dying. You must become someone who counts attempts, not outcomes. Someone who measures the day by actions taken, not information consumed. Someone who treats overthinking like a toxic addiction, because it is exactly that, a chemical dependency on the illusion of control, and goes cold turkey on the need for certainty. You must learn to love the sound of your own voice breaking when you make the cold call. You must learn to love the awkward silence after you ask for the sale. You must learn to love the crickets that follow your first blog post, your first video, your first offer. Because those crickets are not rejection. They are the sound of the arena. They are the sound of you being in the game instead of in the stands. And the stands are crowded with people who will tell you all the reasons it won't work, who will offer you their condolences for your failures while secretly relieved that they did not have the courage to fail themselves. Financial freedom is not a number in an account, though the number helps. It is the internal state of knowing that you can meet reality with right action regardless of external conditions. It is the confidence that comes not from guarantees, but from the alignment of your behavior with your values. It is the peace of knowing that you did what you could do, and the rest is not yours to command. When Epictetus talked about freedom, he wasn't talking about leisure or luxury or the absence of work. He was talking about the absence of emotional slavery, about not being jerked around by every external event like a puppet on strings of anxiety and craving. And right now, you are a puppet. Your strings are pulled by fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of the unknown, fear of your own potential. Cut the strings, not by changing the world, which you cannot do, but by changing your reaction to it, which you can. If this message is resonating, if you feel that uncomfortable tightness in your chest, that means I'm talking about you, not to you. If you feel seen and exposed and slightly angry at how accurate this is, then you have a responsibility. Not just to yourself, but to the version of you that is trapped in the loop and needs to see a way out, and to others who are drowning in the same ocean of overthinking. Hit the like button not as a passive gesture of appreciation, but as an active declaration that you are done with preparation and ready for transformation, that you are choosing to engage rather than consume. Share this with someone who is stuck in the same cycle of overthinking, because the only way to solidify your own commitment is to teach it, to externalize it, to make it real by speaking it to another. Subscribe not for more content to hoard and file away in your digital library of inaction, but as a line in the sand marking the moment you chose action over analysis, the moment you declared war on your own hesitation. You are not subscribing to a channel. You are subscribing to a new identity. And that identity requires proof. It requires evidence that you are different from the person who started watching this video 10 minutes ago. The algorithm shows these videos to people who need them, but only engagement tells the algorithm that the message matters, that there is an audience for truth in a world of comfortable lies. Be the signal, not the noise. Be the one who acts, not the one who watches. But we are not done. We have only begun to excavate the rot from the foundation. We have identified the disease, emotional mismanagement masquerading as caution, but we have not yet administered the cure. We have not yet walked through the specific, daily, ruthless practices that rebuild your nervous system from the ground up, that rewire your brain for action instead of analysis. We have not yet faced the hardest truth, that your poverty is comfortable, that your overthinking is a luxury you can no longer afford, and that the transition from slave to sovereign requires a violence of action that most are too soft to endure. In the next segment, we go deeper. We go darker. We strip away the remaining illusions and build the operational blueprint for a mind that creates wealth instead of worrying about it. The chain continues. The question is, are you strong enough to keep pulling? Stay locked in. You said you wanted to stay locked in. Now prove it. Feel the sweat pooling in the small of your back. The way your heart is hammering against your ribs like a prisoner trying to escape. Good. That is not anxiety. That is not fear. That is the sensation of your old identity dying, and like all deaths, it is violent, it is messy, and it smells like copper and bile. You have been comfortable for too long. You have treated your poverty like a cozy blanket, a warm bath of victimhood where the water is just the right temperature to slowly cook you alive without you ever screaming. You think you want financial freedom. You think you want wealth. No, you want the idea of wealth without the crucible that forges it. You want the medal without the mud. You want the crown without the conquest. But here, in this segment, we are done with wanting. We are done with wishing. We are entering the phase of burning. You are not a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. That metaphor is too gentle, too Disney, too forgiving for what needs to happen here. You are a building with faulty wiring, and the only way to save the city is to let it burn to the foundation and build something fireproof in its place. This is cremation, not transformation. This is the murder of your former self, and you need to hold the knife. You need to smile while you twist it. Because the person who started watching this video, the one who overthinks, who waits, who prepares, who seeks comfort before competence, that person is already dead. You just haven't stopped moving yet. You are a corpse that hasn't realized the brain has stopped firing. And segment 2 is the autopsy that happens while you are still awake to feel the blade. Let me show you what comfort looks like under the microscope, because you have been calling it survival, but it is actually suicide in slow motion. Comfort is the plush, velvet-lined coffin you have built for your potential. It is the lukewarm bath where your dreams dissolve like sugar in water. Every time you choose the soft chair over the hard truth, every time you scroll for dopamine instead of diving into discomfort, every time you say, "I deserve a break," when what you deserve is a breakthrough, you are nailing another board onto the box that will be your eternal home. You have confused self-care with self-indulgence. You have mistaken preservation for protection. Your nervous system has been calibrated for safety in a world that only rewards the brave. You are operating on factory settings designed for a savanna where staying hidden kept you alive from lions, but you are in an economy where invisibility is starvation and visibility is the only food. Your ancestors survived by staying still and quiet. You will die by staying still and quiet. The very mechanisms that kept your DNA alive for millennia are now killing your bank account, poisoning your relationships, and turning your life into a gray fog of mediocrity. You must go to war with your own biology. You must become unnatural. You must develop a taste for the bitter, the difficult, the embarrassing, the uncertain. You must learn to orgasm from discipline, to find ecstasy in the exact moment where you want to quit and choosing instead to push deeper into the pain. This is not masochism. This is the only medicine strong enough to cure the disease of overthinking. You overthink because you have the luxury of comfort. Take away the comfort, and you have no time to think. You only have time to act. Starvation produces hunters, not philosophers. You need to starve the part of you that wants to theorize and feed the part of you that wants to kill. Consider the Roman Stoics again, not as marble statues in museums but as men who knew that softness was the precursor to slavery. Seneca, wealthy beyond measure, slept on a hard bed every night, not because he had to, but because he needed to remind his body that it could survive discomfort. He practiced poverty while rich so that he would never fear becoming poor. This is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, and it is the nuclear weapon against financial anxiety. You are terrified of losing what little you have because you have never voluntarily given it up. You are scared of poverty because you have never practiced it as a discipline. You must begin to love the worst-case scenario like a lover you cannot wait to embrace. You must visualize, in vivid, technicolor, high-definition detail, the absolute collapse of your financial life. See the eviction notice taped to your door. Smell the stale air of your friend's couch where you crash after losing your apartment. Feel the cold sweat on your palms as you check your balance and see 3 digits, then 2, then 1. Taste the metallic flavor of panic as you realize you have no safety net, no rescue, no cavalry coming over the hill. Most people do this visualization and stop at the fear, using it as another excuse to overprepare, to hoard, to stay safe. But you are going to do something different. You are going to dwell in that visualization until the fear transmutes into boredom. You are going to imagine that catastrophe so completely, so thoroughly, that it becomes familiar, even comfortable. You are going to make friends with the demon under your bed until you realize it is just a pile of old clothes. This is not negative thinking. This is emotional inoculation. You are injecting yourself with a small dose of the disease of poverty so that your psyche develops antibodies. When you have mentally lived through the worst that can happen and survived it in your imagination, you realize that the worst is not death. The worst is not annihilation. The worst is just change. And change is neutral. Change is clay. Change is the raw material that you, as a sovereign creator, can shape with your hands if you are not paralyzed by the fear of it. Now we construct the operational blueprint, the daily architecture of the Stoic who creates wealth instead of worrying about it. This is not a theory. This is a weapon you load every morning and fire until you are empty. First, you abolish the concept of motivation. You do not wait to feel like it. You do not check your emotional weather before deciding to act. You install a new operating system where action precedes feeling, where the body moves and the mind follows like a loyal dog. Your new metric is not dollars earned. Your new metric is decisions made. Count them. Tattoo them on your forearm if you have to. You must make 100 decisions per day that move you toward financial sovereignty, no matter how small. Micro decisions, nano actions, the email sent, the price quoted, the investment made, the word written, the call dialed, the No. Endured. Track them like a miser tracks coins. Because every decision you make is a vote for the person you are becoming, and right now, your previous self has stuffed the ballot box with abstentions. You have been voting, present, while life votes against you. Second, you practice voluntary discomfort like a religion. Take cold showers until your skin stops screaming and starts singing. Fast for 24 hours until you realize that hunger is just a sensation, not an emergency. Sleep on the floor one night a week to remind yourself that shelter is a privilege, not a guarantee. Walk instead of drive. Speak instead of text. Ask instead of assume. Do what is hard when it is not required so that when it is required, you are steel wrapped in skin. Third, you execute the evening funeral. Every night, before sleep, you review not what you learned, not what you planned, but what you did. You judge your day by one criteria only. Did I act according to my principles regardless of outcome? If you made the offer and were rejected, you mark the day as victory. If you published the work and no one read it, you mark the day as victory. If you invested and the market immediately tanked, you mark the day as victory. Because you are no longer playing the results game. You are playing the sovereignty game. You are training yourself to be the type of person who cannot be shaken by external events, and that type of person is magnetic to money because money flows to stability, to certainty, to the unshakable core. Marcus is no longer the man in the dark room. Marcus set fire to the room. He walked out into the blinding light of noon, eyes streaming, skin burning, and made his first offer before he felt ready. It was terrible. It was clumsy. He stuttered. He forgot his own pricing. He accepted less than he deserved. He was rejected 9 times out of 10. The 10th client paid him, and he celebrated not the money, which was meager, but the fact that he had stopped theorizing about commerce and had engaged in it, had tasted the actual metal of the market instead of reading about metallurgy. He began to love the rejection letters because they were proof that he was in the arena, not in the stands. He kept a jar on his desk and dropped a coin in every time he heard no, and when the jar was full, he bought himself a steak not as a reward for success, but as a reward for courage. He realized that amor fati, the love of fate, was not a poetic concept but a brutal practice of saying yes to reality exactly as it presented itself. The client who paid late loved the opportunity that evaporated, loved the investment that halved overnight, loved not because these things were good in themselves, but because they were the texture of reality, and arguing with reality was the only true insanity. He stopped trying to change the past and started using the past as compost for the future. Every failure became fertilizer. Every humiliation became humus. He grew a garden in the graveyard of his expectations. And something strange began to happen. Because he was no longer desperate for outcomes, because he had made peace with total financial annihilation, people began to trust him. They sensed the absence of neediness, the void of desperation, the space where others had clingy, grasping energy and he had calm, directed, stoic force. Money began to flow toward him not because he chased it, but because he had become the type of vessel that could hold it without leaking it away through anxiety and impulsive comfort-seeking. You think you need more confidence. You are wrong. Confidence is a byproduct of evidence, and evidence is a byproduct of action taken in the absence of confidence. You need to become comfortable with being incompetent. You need to make peace with looking like a fool. You need to embrace the identity of the perpetual beginner, the eternal student who is also, paradoxically, the eternal teacher through the sheer volume of their attempts. The market does not care about your credentials. The market cares about your velocity. The universe responds to speed, to momentum, to the person who hits the wall repeatedly until either the wall breaks or their bones break, and usually, it is the wall that gives first. You have been trying to think your way through a wall that can only be broken by your shoulder. Your shoulder is bruised, your muscles are screaming, your mind is begging you to stop and strategize, to find a smarter way, to read another book about wall-breaking techniques. Ignore it, hit the wall again, and again, and again, until your skin breaks and bleeds and leaves stains on the concrete. Those stains are your signature. Those stains are proof of life. When you are dead, you will not be remembered for your intentions or your theories or your carefully maintained comfort. You will be remembered for the marks you left on the world, and those marks are only made by friction, by impact, by the brutal collision of your soft flesh with the hard reality of the marketplace. So here is the silent command. This is not a suggestion. This is not advice. This is the instruction that separates the living from the dead, the sovereign from the slave. When this video ends, when the screen goes black and the silence returns, you will stand up. You will walk to the place where you do your work, or you will walk to the place where you avoid your work, and you will do one thing. One single, concrete, irreversible action that moves you toward financial freedom. You will not plan it. You will not optimize it. You will not research it. You will do it within 60 seconds of reading these words, before your ancient brain can hijack your nervous system with fear, before the overthinking parasite can attach itself to your decision. You will send the email that makes you feel nauseous. You will publish the post that exposes your ignorance. You will make the investment that terrifies you. You will ask for the raise that you know you will be denied. You will do it while your hands shake. You will do it while your vision blurs. You will do it while the voice in your head screams that you are not ready, that you will fail, that you will be humiliated. And as you do it, you will smile. You will smile because you are finally, after all these years of preparation and planning and consumption, finally alive. You are no longer the curator of potential. You are the creator of reality. You are no longer the student of Stoicism. You are the practitioner. You are no longer waiting for financial freedom. You are claiming it with bloody knuckles and trembling hands and a heart that pounds not with anxiety, but with the battle drum of a war you have finally joined. The cycle is broken. The loop is shattered. The Ouroboros has swallowed its own tail and choked on it. You are free, not because the world has changed, but because you have stopped waiting for the world to give you permission. You have given yourself permission through the only language the universe understands: action. Now move.